air mass is going to continue to make its way into the southeastern parts of the state, dropping temperatures in places like Harrisburg and Philadelphia as we move throughout the day today. Change over our precipitation from rain like we're seeing early this morning to freezing rain and then over to snow later on tonight. Do be careful if you're heading out traveling, especially this afternoon. We talked record-breaking cold earlier this week, but as we head into the weekend, we start to see a warming trend and a bit of a calmer weather pattern, at least to start off the weekend. Winds out of the northwest, that's what's bringing in this cooler air. We've seen winds out of the south earlier today. That wind shift as that front passed, that's bringing us the cooler air. It's hard to believe, but Thanksgiving is less than 2 weeks away. Now, Thanksgiving is a holiday filled with traditions, and one of those very famously American traditions is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. With a live audience of more than 3.5 million people and a television audience of more than 50 million people, all eyes are on the forecast for Manhattan as we near Thanksgiving morning. But for the more than 4,000 parade volunteers and 8,000 parade participants, the Thanksgiving Eve forecast is just as important. Inflating the balloons begins at 3 in the afternoon on Thanksgiving Eve. Throughout the night, the streets are closed and prepped for the parade, and performers, such as the marching bands, rehearse in front of the iconic Macy's storefront. While average high temperatures for New York City reach about 50 degrees at Thanksgiving, these volunteers and performers have to worry more about the overnight lows, which average around 38. For much of its 87-year history, the parade has lucked out when it comes to the weather. The parade can go on when it is raining. The participants just don ponchos for the parade route and quickly remove them before performing in Herald Square for the cameras. But once, the rain proved too much for the balloons. It was in 1971 that heavy rain forced the balloons to be grounded, making it only the 4th Macy's parade without the balloons. Just over 1 inch of rain fell in Central Park that day. A few years later, and a few degrees cooler, it was snow that threatened the annual festivities. Despite 4.5 inches of snow falling in New York on Thanksgiving Day in 1989, the roads were treated so the parade could continue on. In 1997, the parade faced another weather dilemma. Fierce winds proved stronger than the trained handlers, spelling bad news for Barney and the Cat in the Hat. Both balloons were injured by light posts during the parade, despite the handlers' best efforts to fight the wind. Now, wind regulations are in place, and the New York Police Department has the final call on whether or not the balloons will fly. In order for the balloons to lift off, sustained winds cannot exceed 23 miles per hour, and gusts cannot exceed 34 miles per hour.
3, 2, 1, let's have a parade!
Assuming the weather cooperates, nearly 50 balloons, including 16 giant character balloons, 27 floats, 1,300 cheerleaders and dancers, and 12 marching bands, along with a slew of celebrities, will set off down the streets of Manhattan this Thanksgiving morning for the 87th annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. For Weather or Not, I'm Christina Reuille. Good evening, Center County. I'm Christina Reuille here from the Penn State Campus Weather Service with a look at your evening forecast. Starting off with temperatures across Center County, most stations are reporting the low 20s right now, and that is below freezing where we've been all day, and that is the story for the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. All stations reporting below freezing temperatures. And that is only a taste of what is to come. Even cooler air moving in for the latter part of this week. And that is going to keep our temperatures here in State College to struggle to make it above 0 tomorrow. By about 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, only 3 degrees here in State College. And with the wind chill, it's going to feel like below 0 temperatures. So you're definitely going to need to bundle up and dress accordingly as you make your way outside this evening and tomorrow. By Friday afternoon, we finally make it up to this double digits, 10 degrees by about 2 o'clock. The big story though right now, we have a band of snow rapidly approaching the State College area that will be dropping visibilities as it makes its way through. Similar to the band of snow we saw this past Saturday, this is another fast-moving snow squall that should drop visibilities, possibly creating whiteout conditions for a short amount of time, and then it will make its way out of the region. It's moved through Pittsburgh now, this radar loop ending right around 3:15, and it should be in State College around 5 o'clock this evening. take a look at our visibilities, we can see a corridor of decreased visibilities that corresponds to right where that snow is falling. Our visibility is already down to 2 miles in State College with the lighter snow ahead of that. That's only going to fall from where it is now and create hazardous driving conditions around 5 o'clock. So right around evening rush hour, it's not a good time to travel. Either get home early or stay at work a little later. Not a good time to be out on the roads as this snow squall moves through. As I mentioned, it moves through by about the 6 o'clock hour. We're on the back side of it, and then just a few light snow showers and clouds behind it. More nuisance snow than anything. Most of our accumulation will come initially with that one band between the 5 and 6 o'clock hour. So your forecast for tonight, few flurries early as that snow moves through, and then bitter wind chills. We're only talking about a low of 2 degrees, and with winds out of the west at 8 to 10 miles an hour, that has created a lot of concern for decreased wind chills. The National Weather Service has us under a wind chill advisory from midnight tonight through 10 a.m. Friday morning. So that's more than 24 hours under a wind chill advisory because we are concerned about those dangerous wind chills. If you are headed out at all during that time, you need to dress appropriately so that you stay safe. Your 7-day forecast, we see that very cold Arctic air in the forecast for Thursday and into Friday. For those of you who have plans to be standing outside to get a good spot for thawing, you're going to need to dress accordingly. It's going to be very cold. We'll struggle to make it to the double digits on Friday. And then we warm up a bit by Saturday and Sunday, 36 on Sunday. Hard to believe, though, that by this time, our average high is around 40 degrees. Hard to believe that given the weather the past couple of days. And then another chilly start to next week with temperatures back in the 20s. From the Penn State Campus Weather Service, I'm Christina Reuille. Have a wonderful evening.